they move your stuff, and I think that's fair. If you don't come back within a reasonable amount of time, that means you've gone off and you've just assumed that that's just your spot. It does not say reserved for Karen Duncan. I did not pay for a butler or concierge to hold that spot for me, so therefore you have to give it up. So give it up. Next, overeating and drinking. Ooh, I've been guilty of this one too. Not anymore because I've gotten myself under control. But whether it's your own health or ending food waste and not ruining another person's night with your drunken antics, try to curb your indulgence and eat and drink more reasonably, but still vacation-friendly amounts. So everybody knows that you get unlimited food on a cruise. And with the drink packages, you get unlimited booze for the most part. So it's hard. But some of the tricks that I've learned over the years is if you stay away from the buffet and go into the dining hall where you have a sit-down meal, you're less likely to order a whole second plate of food or entree. So once you eat that first entree, that first plate of food, you're usually done. Whereas if you're in the area where the buffet is, you will get up and go get seconds. If you see something that you liked on the first go round, you may get up and go and get seconds and get some of the additional items that you couldn't get the first time. So that's the thing about eating. Drinking, that's a hard one because you're on vacation. Those days at sea specifically, you get up, you have a mimosa or you have a Bloody Mary first thing with breakfast. Then you go and you hang out around the pool. If you're in a warm destination, it's a day at sea, so you have another Bloody Mary or another mimosa, or you have the drink of the day. And then it's just 9 or 10 o'clock, right? And then, so you got all day that you're hanging out by the pool and you're just kind of relaxing. And, next thing you know, it's lunchtime, so you have another cocktail. I mean, that goes on all day. And by the end of the day, you've had 12 cocktails. That's the way a lot of times it go. Or they have some kind of contest going on, or they have wine tastings, or tequila tastings, or margarita tastings, or pairings. I mean, so anyway, so you have to learn to control yourself if that's a concern. I really can't say much about that because I participate in all of that. Leaving lights on or balcony door open. So although we don't necessarily pay for electricity out of our pockets per se while we're on the cruise, it is very wasteful for us to leave the electricity on once we leave our cabin. So when you're leaving your stateroom, you should turn off your lights and you should make sure you keep your balcony doors closed when you're gone, when you're not there, pretty much. We end up paying for it long term because the increase in electricity is then passed on to us, the passengers, when the cruise lines have to pay for the increased cost. Touching food you don't take. Come on, people. And I see this all the time with people who let their kids go through the buffet line. Let me give you a little piece of my mind right here. Folks, handle your kids. And that's the next one on here, letting your kids go crazy. So 6 and 7 I'm going to talk about. First of all, as grown people, we should not be touching food that we're not going to eat. Your parents taught you better than that, and if they didn't, I'm giving you a lesson today. Do not touch food that you're not going to take. If you accidentally touch it, take it. Just take it. It's okay. Put it on your plate. You can throw it in the trash. It's not that big a deal. Don't take it and put it back, please. That's how people get sick. That's disgusting. And people, help your children. They are children. Help your children go through the buffet line. Help them. Those little nasty hands using the tongs, first of all. I think tongs are disgusting, personally. But because people put the tongs after they've touched them in the plate of food, as opposed to putting them back on the plate that they've set there outside for you to use the tongs, Anyway, but children should not be unsupervised when going through the line. I think that goes up until they're like 16. And even that's debatable depending on what type of training you're teaching your children at home. But you cannot expect a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old to have perfect etiquette in a buffet line when there are thousands of people on a ship. Come on, people. Let's work with each other here. Just because a cruise is the best place to take a family vacation so that you have limited time with your kids. You can spend as much or little time as you want with your children. You still need to supervise them. If you're taking control of your children away from them being in camp time and you're spending time eating meals with them, control them during that time. Supervise them during that time. If you don't want to supervise your children on vacation, do not take them. I believe in adult-only vacations. I believe in family vacations. But if you don't want to handle your kids on vacation, don't take them. It makes it better for everybody else on their vacation when you take care of your own children. That's just the food thing. Letting your kids go crazy. We get it. You're on vacation. You want some downtime from taking care of your kids. Don't take them. And really one of my big pet peeves are when there are adult-only spaces on a ship or anywhere else for that matter, adult-only pool. I don't care if you got the cutest 4-month-old baby in the world and that Louis Vuitton or Gerber is about to give them the best modeling contract of their lives. I don't care. But when it says adult only, don't bring that child to the area that says adult only. If you're breastfeeding, go someplace else, give them to grandma, or don't bring the baby, or wait until they're old enough that you can leave the child with somebody. Please, people. Can you tell I'm on my high horse? I've got kids. I do. I love children. I would love to have grands and great-grands. I would love to vacation with them. But I just believe in people following the rules. Take responsibility for their behavior, manage their behavior in public places, reprimand them when they're too loud or too wild and disturbing other passengers. If you're lazing the day around at the adults only sun deck, make sure you have safely ensconced your offspring to the kids club. Or read them the Riot Act and make rules about where they can go and how to behave elsewhere on the ship. That's all we're asking, is that you follow the rules. Because I am a rule compliant officer, especially when it comes to adult only spaces. I will let you know, or I will tell on you. Yes, I will. And I don't care that you paid $7,000 for your family to be on the ship. I really don't care. Because I've paid money to have that space exclusively for adults away from you and your beautiful, lovely, absolutely adorable children. They gotta go. And yes, I look forward to the cruise lines that are adult only. I'm looking forward to some of those, to be honest. But I think there's times and places for all of it. That's why I've never done a Disney. Nothing against Disney, but I've never done a Disney. I have done the Big Red Boat, and the one thing I can say when it was the Big Red Boat, and there were 200 children on the ship. We didn't know there were 200 children on that ship until they came through and did a little dance at the dinner that we were at. They were the most well-behaved and well-supervised children I had ever been around. That's what I'm talking about. People can have their cake and eat it too. You just got to make sure you're doing it right. Leaving dirty dishes in the hallway. I have been guilty. I thought that's where you were supposed to put your dishes when you were done with them on a cruise, so they got picked up faster. That is not the case. If you order room service, call your cabin steward and room service and have them come pick up your tray when you're finished, rather than leaving them on the floor outside the door. I'm sorry. I apologize. I will never do it again. Making a mess in your cabin. Lord have mercy. We know how to mess up a cabin and a hotel room, my husband and I. But we do try to make sure that we kind of pick up after ourselves so that when the cleaning people come in, they can function, because they don't know where to put your stuff when they're coming to clean up. They're afraid to really touch your personal items. They'd rather not have to do that. So put your dirty clothes in a laundry bag, not on the floor. Your cruise dailies and papers piled neatly away. Those things that you want to keep, put them away, or throw them in the trash so they know that it's trash, not spread around all over the place. Put your shoes in the corner in the closet where they're supposed to go. And just know that they're working really hard to keep your space beautiful. They work so hard, especially on the cruise ship. They work so hard. They never get a break. Let's help them do as little as possible for us, because they do it every day. Please, let's just do that. And number 10, being noisy. Are you guilty of talking through theatrical performances? Don't do that. I hate that. Don't do that. Playing your own music loudly. Don't do that either. On Serenity Deck, put your earphones in. Or make it low, real low. Blaring your TVs at 2 o'clock in the morning. Don't do that, people. Come on, young people, old people. It doesn't matter. It's just not. We're sharing a ship with thousands of other vacationers, or even hundreds, even the smaller ships. We don't want to disturb other people's space. Turn down the volume when people are trying to sleep, relax, or pay attention to a show or a lecture. Use your headphones. Just be courteous to one another. Treat others like you want to be treated. If that were your child up there performing, you would want to be able to listen to every detail. If you don't want to listen to the show, if you're not enjoying it, leave. That's all we're saying. So those are our tips from our friends over at Cruise Critic. As you can see, I've got some hot spots. I got some hot buttons, y'all. I'm not the only one. So I'm going to take a very quick break, and when I come back, we got our friends over at The Wireless Traveler, and I think you're going to want to hear this. It is so important. This is Karen Duncan, your bucket list buster. We shall be back in a minute.
If you like the sound of vacationing at a 5-star luxury included resort, Sandals has a symphony of romantic indulgences just for you. Sandals hits all the right notes for 2 people in love. Miles of pristine beaches harmonize with beautiful turquoise seas. Love Nest suites are orchestrated with private plunge pools and tranquility soaking tubs for 2. The tempo increases with unlimited land and water sports, including scuba diving and golf. Your taste buds are treated to a rhapsody of 5-star global gourmet dining at up to 16 world-class restaurants, including endless pours of premium spirits and wine, music to anyone's ears. From live entertainment to taxes, tips, and transfers, it's all included, all unlimited, and only at Sandals, the world's only 5-star luxury included resorts, voted world's best 21 years in a row.
Well, welcome back to Telecom Tips with our friends over the Wireless Traveler. So last week we talked a bit about satellite phones and how wonderful they are to stay in touch in most remote places. I mean, all you have to do is be able to see the sky, and then you can make calls to loved ones back home, or an important business deal where you have to be on the call even while hiking the outback on a safari in Africa. But of course, buyer beware, as there are certain countries where satellite phones can be confiscated or worse, cause you, the innocent traveler, to incur fines or incarceration. I mean, who needs that while on vacation? So let's drill down and look at some specific countries. Care of the experience from our friends over the Wireless Traveler. First off is China.